I never lose, either I win or I learn. Those are my only options, to whomever it may concern. About to be a hot topic, play with fire, you get burned. Ain't nobody give me nothing, whatever I got, better I earn. I never lose, but I learn. I either win or I learn. Those are my only options, to whomever.
We learned the hard way. We fucked up. We're not perfect, but the lessons we learn in life, they make us who we are. And here we are, starting fresh.
And we're really excited to share our journey going forward with all of you so that we can hold each other accountable through the weight loss journey. Our journey started back in March of 2020. Actually, if you've listened to our podcast, it actually started well before then. We've been, on this weight loss journey pretty much our entire life. But this particular journey, or part of our journey, started in March of 2020, where together we lost over 150 pounds. But then life hit big time in 2021.
Injuries, depression, deciding to sell our home because we needed new space, downsizing with 5 people and 2 dogs and a 2-bedroom house, and all this stuff started to add up where our whole regimen and routine got out of whack, where we were eating trash.
Yeah. And so it really affected our mental state, our physical state. Those of you who have been following along on this journey, I know you can see a difference when you look at us, when you see this on YouTube. And that's why we've started this, our journey. That's what we're calling this, our journey, because it's not just us, it's all of us together. And so we have a whole new page on veganstrongandfit.com called Our Journey, where we're going to be talking about every week something that has led us to success or maybe failure that we've learned from within the week to overcome and help us to continue on this. How we're going to do this the right way this time to make sure that we're able to support you, you're able to support us, and be sure to go on and follow us every week at veganstrongandfit.com/journey.
We're in this together.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Strong AF podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Yuri. And normally what we would do right now, we'll read our guest bio. But for this one, this guy has such a huge following and he has great energy. So we discussed it and we decided that we would let him introduce himself.
With his signature introduction.
You already know it's Molove, and I'm back at it again with a positive message. So let's get straight to it. Once again, I just want to shout out, Vegan Strong and Fit for having me on their podcast. I'm extremely humbled, and I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm really looking forward to see how this conversation is going to go because I have no idea how it's going to go. All I know is that it's going to be very high vibrational, informative, as well as very inspirational to whoever decides to have a listen. So I'll turn the floor back over to you, and then I'll just go with the flow from there. And I'm just looking forward to chopping it up with you.
Awesome. Thank you. We're so excited to have you on tonight as well. It's super exciting because you have such a high energy. You're such a positive message, and everything that you do, you see those positive vibrations flowing through you. So we're just very happy to have you on. Can you tell our listeners more about who you are and what you do?
Yes, tell everybody about Molove.
Because I know this conversation is going to get deep eventually, because if you ask me who I am, third dimensionally, okay, I go by the name of Molove. I'm a coach. I do personal training. I also do Muay Thai training. I'm a writer, speaker, all of that. I'm a motivational speaker. Listen, I love to write. I love to speak. And those are my key gifts that I choose to use to add value to humanity in whatever way that I see fit. Why? Because I've discovered that that's my soul mission. And, for me then, walking my path, I understand now that, if I'm not engaging in my soul mission, if I'm not working on myself on a daily, what am I really working on really? That's actually one of my quotes as well. I have a book on Amazon, a quote book. I love to write, like I mentioned. And, that's one of my quotes, one of my recent quotes, and I'm not one of those that just try to just write quotes just to make them sound good. They actually come from the soul, real life experiences for those who know. And I basically been painting my life picture. Started it back in 2017 when I started doing spoken word poetry. Um, yeah, it started off with just spoken word poetry, and I just began to expand and express myself as I began to, become more and more confident, being in front of a camera and just allowing myself to be vulnerable and not worrying about other people's judgment. So from ever since I've embarked on my spiritual journey, it's been, a worthwhile one, a lot of highs, coupled with many lows, but I've learned over time to just, continue to use my willpower to power through, those times that may be challenging. I haven't touched meat in over a year now. However, I do have cheese sometimes, so I won't say I'm a full out vegan, but I haven't touched meat in any forms, like not fish, anything. Not on no bragging stuff, because I don't like to come across as like, I label myself like I'm separating myself from you. Like I don't eat meat, you eat meat. No, I don't do that. I'm just saying, but how this happened though? Like, okay, prior to 2017, I ate any and everything. I had no awareness of animals, looking at animals as life forms. None of that. No, I wasn't on none of that. Like that, none of that. I nothing. So what happened was, it had a hurricane by the name of Irma that almost destroyed the island that I reside in currently. And when that hurricane came, like it put me in it caused me to really undergo deep introspection, about a lot of things, you know. Um and it just so happened that around that time I would say, my real major spiritual awakening. Like it just happened. I dropped meat, dairy, alcohol. I was drinking wine and stuff, cold turkey. Like I was like, but that lasted like a month or so. Why? Because at the time I did it because I was seeking. That's when I started to seek. Like, because I realized, like, listen, I have no idea if this island is gonna bounce back, because it was really bad. So I found myself feeling more or less helpless. And then I started to think about all the times that I had opportunities to do more and be more, but I didn't. I know it looks as if I'm not gonna get that opportunity again, and I started to just make some drastic changes, and I started to address certain areas that I felt needed to be addressed, and one of which was my diet. Because I follow this guy, Ralph Smart. I don't know if you know him, Infinite Waters on YouTube. I've been watching him for years, and he cannot drop a video without saying 7-day vegan challenge, 7-day vegan challenge. And every day, every time he would say that piece, it's basically his way of psychologically priming your mind to want to try to go vegan for 7 days. I don't peep game. That's exactly what he been trying to do. And it would have times within those, like I think I started watching him from 2013, 14. It would have a few times I would attempt it. I would do it for a strength. I don't say weak anymore, but that's a whole different topic if we ever if we end up getting into that, words or spells. So every, I would try to do it for a strength, and then I would just go back to eating meat or whatever. But then after I relapsed, because like I say, in 2017, I did it for like a month or so, and then I just went back to eating, fish, and then eventually end up eating chicken. But I realized in hindsight, it's because I did not have a strong enough reason, right? I did not have a strong enough reason why. Because when people would ask me, I would just tell them, like, we're not supposed to be eating animals, because I came to that realization around that time, that we're not supposed to be eating animals because animals, also have souls and do. But I was still shallow, because because if it wasn't, I would have stopped, and I would have been stopped. But what really happened, not to drag it on too long, last year, April, when I say they, I don't know who it was. So, they poisoned my dog that I had for like, listen, like 10 years at least. We had a deep connection. And when that happened, listen, that tore me up though. That tore me up. Like, it happened. I got a call while I was at the office. I didn't really feel it as much because I probably didn't sink in, like, like, why is she really gone? Her name was Lily, by the way. And when I got home and I didn't see her, I was like, why is she really gone? The next day, going to the gym, eyes full of tears. But I asked myself, why am I crying? I'm asking myself, why am I crying though? Like, I really legit asked myself this question, and then I realized that's because I had a soul connection with that dog. I know I could feel that her soul transcended, and I could feel that gap, that void. And right then and there, that was April 15th. I could show you it. I have it written on my cricket bat. I have it written somewhere here too. From that day, I said to myself, if I'm gonna cry over my dog right now, and I'm so pissed to the point that if I was to find out who poisoned that dog, it might get ugly. I cannot see myself putting another animal on my plate because that could be my dog. That would make me a hypocrite, legit. So April 15, 2021 was the last time I ate meat. And again, like I said, I did not have a strong enough reason back in 2017. Hence, I would go back and forth. But something within me knew that I don't really want to be doing this. I probably didn't have a deep enough understanding as to why, So when I really developed the understanding, or built the understanding, of why I shouldn't be doing it, and then also, when the emotional trauma from losing my dog and realizing that me putting another animal is that me putting my dog, because energy never dies. That could easily be my dog that reincarnated into another animal. The why, and and then I've also pictured this. I say it could have been somebody who, maybe killed the dog, and maybe they were hungry and ate her too. How I know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. So who am I now to eat another animal and justify it? Based on what?
We can relate to
horses as a pet. People have cows as a pet. People have chickens as a pet.
Yeah.
Who am I to discriminate which animal is okay for me to eat?
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, that's really powerful. And I think that comes down to really the big difference between having sympathy. Like, I feel like when you were going through that back and forth phase, you had sympathy for the animals, right? Like you kind of had that knowing and that knowledge that, that it's not right, but you didn't have that empathy. And that empathy came that moment that you lost your dog. And that's the difference. That empathy, that really resonated with you. And that's what motivated you.
And then with that empathy, you started seeking consciousness of what you're doing in the spiritual realm. And like you said, all energy never dies. It's transferred. You just started getting these downloads, and everything just started to resonate. And you started really seeking more consciousness and all this information, this energy. When you took a look on the inside and started thinking all this stuff I've been doing, and then that correlates with the YouTube, the guy you've been listening to and everything, and you started thinking, okay, I need to do something. I need to make a change. So we can definitely resonate with that, because it was years ago. We had family and actually had a coworker that was vegan, and we just tried it for one day.
But we had no other purpose other than my coworker was like, you should give it a try. I had no real motivation to actually do it. So we did it for a day and we're like, no, okay, never again. But it was because we had the mindset wasn't there. It was just like trying any other diet, right? Like that was kind of the thought process going in. It wasn't anything that resonated with us at the time until we actually finally decided to go on our journey for health reasons, and then started watching other documentaries about the environment, about the animals. And I think that's what kept us on the path, because we learned, it's not just one thing. It's not just that selfish us reason, which honestly, your health reason is enough to do it, I believe. But it wasn't just that selfish reason. It was the environment other people around us, the animals, and having all those facts, then it's kind of hard to go back.
Yeah, I understand you fully, and that's the thing. And again, I would say this. If you develop a strong enough reason to do or not do something, it's always going to be very hard for anybody to persuade you to do otherwise. You know,
Yeah.
once something really has that effect on you, especially emotionally, you know, especially, well, you got to choose how you channel it though, because you can either allow it to break you or build you. In my case, I chose to allow it to build me, because I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do better. How can I contribute to me making this planet a better world? Why did I feel that emotional trauma? You know, and then I always keep that with me. So it's like I could walk in the kitchen, you know, at the office, and I see them eating KFC or smell Chinese food, and but non-judgmental though. I still could tell them full joy their meal, you know, without feeling like, okay, yeah, you know, you shouldn't be, because I was once there. You know, for me,
Yeah.
all of that is showing, compassion as well. You know, understanding that everyone grows at their own pace. You know, it's not everyone that's gonna, you know, have that consciousness level that you have. You know, you share what you experience, and they either take it or they leave it. But one thing I know though, they would never come in the kitchen and see me doing otherwise though. So for me, just by me doing that, going in the kitchen and having that, and they keep, you know, they see me not doing it. For me, I'm planting a seed. So I'm still
Right.
doing some. I'm still contributing, because you know, and here is it that, okay, this guy is not eating meat, you know, and he's in the gym, and I could do that too, because that was another reason why, no lie, when I decided I was gonna stop eating meat, I was like, boy, I wonder if I can get small now, if I gonna lose weight, you know? Yeah, for real, I was like, boy,
Yeah.
I gonna lose my gains. But straight up, that's when I realized though that I've really ascended to a different level of consciousness. Because even though it did cross my mind, I was like, you know, I don't care. I don't care if I lose my gains, like, because at the end of the day, my reason for not doing it far outweighs some gains. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and it's funny, because when I stopped, which was last April, I got bigger. So somebody lied.
Yes. Exactly. No,
Somebody lied,
perfectly
because
said.
look right, another. I go, sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
you know. I've never seen a skinny goat though, and I'll ask people all the time where they get their proteins from. Though their proteins from
Exactly.
where they. I've never seen a skinny. Well, giraffes be skinny, but they don't start small. They grow this tall.
Yeah.
Where they be getting their proteins from,
Yeah.
though? I sure you don't want one of those things. You know that. So you know that's basically my journey when it comes to, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
exactly
pretty much
right.
what.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right. I mean, animals are the middlemen. But I want to go back to what you were talking about, where you were saying, you know, it's about the mindset. Like once you changed your mindset, that's what kept you motivated. And it's the same thing for everything, right? Everything is about your mindset. The
Facts.
success you have in life or the failures you have in life. And you know, I think that's contributed a lot with your positive attitude as well to your coaching business. So tell us some more about that.
Well, it's funny because what happened when it comes to that was this, right? Like, um, in 2019, I had an operation, right, which was like the third one under my foot, because I have flat feet, and with all the training and stuff that I do, I developed this what they call a callus, and it was very painful. I had to cut it out like 3 times, and when I did that in 2019, I could not train for a couple of, like, about a month or two going into 2020. And I just wasn't happy with the way I was managing my time. I feel like I was selling myself short, you know, that kind of way. So what happened was I started, but in the 2020, this whole, you know, pandemic happened, and slow down a lot of things, but it gave me the opportunity to put in work. And that's when I end up working on my first book that I now have on Amazon, Molove Course Volume 1, The Spiritual Journey. How did this come about? To digress a little bit. Like I said, I really full joy writing, that if I'm not speaking, I'm writing my thoughts, writing down ideas for the next video. I could be I could be preparing a workout, and I'm doing all kind of extra stuff that I don't need to write. It's just I just full joy. It raises my vibration. So hey, I do it a lot, right?
Mhm.
And I started writing quotes, because I'm seeing all kind of quotes on Google and stuff, and I'm like, man, these quotes are a bit shallow though. I feel like these people just writing, but it's not coming from here. Like I don't feel it. I'm a very intuitive empath. I'm very sensitive. I feel you, and if I don't feel you, you're probably coming across a bit shallow. Maybe I'm not judging, but with me, I realized that I found a way to express myself and share it with the world. And when I realized that when I started doing that, I would hear people telling me, like, they would message me and be like, yo, I like in your quotes and stuff. And then I was like, wow, okay, cool. I keep doing it. And then I ended up linking up with a cousin of mine that I didn't see in years. And he the one who dropped that idea on me. And he was like, Mo, like, why you don't do a quote book? I never thought about writing a book for some reason. I always was like, one day I might, but it never triggered me to do it at that time. But when he dropped that idea on me, I was like, why not though? And that was in 2019, and 2020 is when I started working on it. But then 2021, I pretty much got tired because I'm gonna be honest, I'm the type of person that I never settled, and I know y'all,
We're the
you
same
feel my
way.
energy,
Yeah.
you see, yeah, we don't settle, right? So I didn't like where my physique was at. I didn't like the fact that I was sleeping in too much. Like I just decided, listen, it's over. I'm done. I started waking up 4 o'clock, like cold turkey. I'm one of those cold turkey kind of guys. Like if I realize something isn't serving me, if I'm not feeling something, I'm cold turkey. I cut you off cold turkey. I'm jumping on this cold turkey. I'm stopping this cold turkey. That's just me. So I started getting up at 4 o'clock, hitting the gym every day, 5 o'clock, Monday to Saturday. And what happened was folks started seeing my status and stuff, and they asked me to train with me. And that encouraged me to take it serious because I realized, okay, if they're coming to me because I'm not asking you to train me because you see value, why are these people seeing value in myself and I'm not seeing it in my own self? So why? So I started to look at myself from the perspective of I can provide value while doing what I feel joy doing, and that's how I end up getting into personal training, and then of course do research and and just continue to improve my skill set as best as I can. And when it comes to Muay Thai, I've actually been doing that for 10 years. I started in 2012. Long story short, I was on the beach with my nephew. He got into a fight. Me being big uncle, I'm not going to leave him fight. I had no skills whatsoever, but I always had heart though. So yeah, I tried to defend him, of course, and I got punched in. Cool, I took my punch, but I didn't like the fact that I did not have that kind of. I didn't have the skill set to defend myself the way I wanted to.
Right.
So right then and there, I was like, no, I got to learn how to fight. I started in 2012, never stopped. I started teaching the children at the school that I currently train at, so I have some experience with that and people saw, and then now I'm doing that as well. So my journey basically when it comes to personal training and how I end up doing that is me pretty much just doing what I know makes me vibrate at a high frequency.
Yes.
That I know is in alignment with my soul mission. That's it. And by me doing that, attracted these opportunities.
Yeah. Most definitely. I 100% believe that if you just do what you love and be who you are, that's what motivates and inspires other people. It's when you come out here and you try to just do something because it's the hype or everybody else is doing it. But when you're out here and you're just being genuine, you don't even have to be really promoting yourself that much. Like people are interested in you because of
Facts.
the frequency that you're putting out there.
Yes, because people
Correct.
can tell when you're genuine, and like you said, when it's coming from the heart instead of something where you're just doing something because of society tells you that once you graduate high school, you have to go to college or you have to do this. You decided you want to do what makes you happy and what adds a better energy and vibration to yourself. So you did that, and people started to gravitate towards that because they could feel your
Correct.
energy and they feel everything that's going on, and they wanted to vibe with it. And you just started building from your fitness and coaching, and then your book and everything. And I can imagine motivational speaker came probably after that, once you started getting more confident in yourself and starting to realize the power that you possess.
Well, actually, I I I see myself really getting into motivation speaking very soon. I'm not rushing it because
Mhm.
I already know exactly how it's gonna happen. Like I already, have it charted in my mind, and I'm gonna lay it out here. Basically, this is what's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna continue grinding, never stopping. I'm gonna continue pursuing my soul mission. Eventually, what's for me is gonna happen. It's gonna happen so big on a global scale. Why? Because I say these affirmations every day, and what I speak, thus shall it be. Ashe, simple,
Mhm.
right? So it's gonna happen, and when that happens, right, it's gonna inspire so many people that they're gonna ask me how I did it.
Yeah.
And
That's
when
the
they
power
ask
of
me
manifestation.
I, and when they ask me how I did it, right, that's where my motivational speaking career is gonna start. Because then now I'm gonna just be telling people how I did it. But again, it's not about how I did it, is what I've been through before I got
Mhm.
here. Because for me, that's the inspiration. It's not
Yeah.
about okay. It's not about okay. Okay. And success is relative, right? It's not about okay, I'm doing personal coaching now or whatever, whatever. For me, I don't attach myself to no accolades, nothing. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm just doing my best to, fulfill my soul mission, which I know is to inspire and edify as many beings as I possibly can. However, for me, along the journey is all about me, you know, trying to, let my life be an inspiration. And once I can inspire you to become a better version of your current self, listen, that's my ultimate goal. At the end of the day, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line because me helping you to become a better version of yourself, it's simple, man. This is how I look at it because when I do that, even if it's one person, that one person being activated could then inspire someone else
Mhm.
and someone else and someone else. And all of a sudden that creates a domino effect and you have no telling where that could go. And that's not my concern either. For me, if I can inspire one soul, that's enough because I know what that can happen. Because someone inspired my soul. And so far I'm not keeping track of the numbers, but I know for a fact I'm having impact on people's lives because they're telling me. So that tells me I'm on the right path and I'm never
Yeah.
gonna stop. Ever.
And even those who aren't telling you, trust me, they're listening, they're watching. It's and a lot of times it's those silent ones that you impact the most.
Yeah, because the thing
Mm,
is, you
that's
impacted
deep.
us. The thing is, you impacted us, not even knowing it. And and look how far
Mm.
apart we are. You're in the Caribbean. We're over here in the U.S.
Mm.
So imagine how that is. That your vibration was so loud that it resonated over here, and that it brought all this together. And now all this is in one little section, and it's going to spread worldwide to all these other countries and these viewers and everything, where they're hearing your journey and your message, and it's going to touch them just like it touched us.
Listen, I'm so humbled by this. Like I'm still trying to soak it in, but at the same time, I'm just being genuine me,
Mhm.
which I really full joy being. It's no pressure when you're just being yourself. You know what I mean? Like I could remember, being that guy caring about what people think. Yeah, I think we all been there. That kind of
Yeah.
way.
Mhm.
And you see that shadow work. If you're gonna touch on, if you touch on that too, it's important that we do shadow work. I find too many times people be walking around like everything is all perky. I mean, you don't have to show everyone if you're going through something, but at least admit it to yourself.
Mhm.
At least be real with you. That's the only way you can heal. You know, I full joy being alone too. As much as I can socialize and stuff, you see, silent meditation, that's something I don't play with. You know, I also full joy being in the sun a lot. You know, like when I get in the sun, like I just, you know, channel the sun's energy, and I
Yeah.
feel like my creativity goes through the roof. You know, for those, my melanated brothers and sisters, get in the sun, man. Too many times I see we running from the sun. No, get in the sun, because you see, the thing is, right, when you get in the sun, you really channel that energy, that infinite. The sun is energy. You get information from the sun. You
That
know, they don't want us to
radiation.
know these things, but and then, from there, this is me. I'm channeling the energy from the sun, and I'm reproducing it in the form of written and or spoken word. Like, yeah, legit, that'd be my thought process when I'm meditating in the sun.
That's
Not
the
sure if
thing.
you engage in it, God, if y'all, what's your take on meditation though?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we normally do it first thing in the morning when we wake up. But like you were saying about the sun, most people don't realize the power the moon, the sun, and the stars have. Because the way society has us, we're on our phones, we're on social media, our heads down. But
Mm.
automatically, if you want to raise your confidence, just lift your head up. And when you walk around with your head up, you're confident. And if you go out here, like you said, being out in the sun and you're receiving all this radiation, and I just had a download. When you think about it, we walk around with our shoes on, and we have like this little,
Rubber, rubber,
maybe like,
rubber soles, yeah,
yeah,
rubber
we have
soles, yeah.
like an inch or two of rubber, and like you said, our soles, the sole of our feet, the soul of the sun,
Facts.
the SOL. We're not
Mm.
out here barefoot, being grounded and receiving all this energy from the earth. We're missing out on a lot
Certain.
of things.
Facts, facts. That is very true. That is very true. And that's something that I also, I do my best to practice as often as I can. I would have, for me, when it comes to earthing, I prefer to do it like in the cooler part of the day, mainly because of the situation of my feet, with a flat feet. If I do it when the
Hmm.
sun is too hot, it can create pain. But either way, I try to make sure I get that do, because it's very important that we connect with the soil, we connect with nature. That's one of my favorite places to be, in nature. When I'm in nature, like, no phone, no distractions. Like, I just feel so at peace.
Hmm.
I'm able to really connect with myself and really go within, and instead of always, trying to, because that's one thing though. They really did a good job of getting us to look outside of ourselves though. With all these television,
Mhm.
discernment, you fall for anything out here, and that's why I find it very important that, people that understand or have some form of knowledge when it comes to, you know, channeling that energy or going within yourself and knowing
Hmm.
thyself, it's important that
Mhm.
we share that information, because there's so many people that's not aware. They're not aware. They just cool with just going to this 9 to 5. Yeah, I'm at the 9 to 5 for now, but my mindset ain't there.
Yeah.
That kind of way. And they're just doing that every day. And it's like, okay, they go, they come home. For me, then I know I put in a lot of work on myself, and I do more work on myself outside of that 9 to 5. The thing is, for those people, most of them is just the same, hamster wheel lifestyle over and over, you know, waiting to retire, the American dream, never actualizing. I watch it happen time, and I decide, listen, I am ending that generational curse here, because
Mhm.
Yeah.
the I don't know about other people, but when it comes to my family tree, well, the ones that I know about, they don't want to hear about this type of stuff. But the thing is, I understand that the split happened long ago, so I don't trip.
Hmm.
I just know I did my best to at least try to, like, spread the awareness. So from that perspective, I'm at peace, and I understand that you're either gonna get it or you're not gonna get it. You either was chosen, you wasn't chosen. At the end of the day, I didn't decide that. You
Mhm.
know, I'm just gonna make
Yeah.
sure that I play my part. I play my part in society. I play my part in contributing to the betterment of humanity, not just for my child or future children, but for the society on a whole, future generations. I find too many people walking around just selfish. You're just thinking about yourself, YOLO, like, and that's why, it's gonna be so easy to get the majority of them to to fall for this transhumanism because they're so cool with the conveyor belt lifestyle and everything technology. They don't want to put in work. They want everything come to them, and that's why I guess the most of the supermarket, maybe not here in the Caribbean, but I think in the States I'm hearing that you hardly have any humans helping people. Just machines, and people not seeing where they're trying to go with it because they're so, like you said, God, in your phone. They have us out here like Pac-Man. They have us out here like Pac-Man. Front, back, left, right. People ain't even looking up. People not even looking down. They're just in this box, just trying to get this money, thinking that that's all life is about, and I'm
what
not
you
gonna
said
say sad because
sorry,
no,
go ahead. I was gonna say what you said earlier really resonated with me about how you just spend that time by yourself in meditation. And I think that a lot of the problem is people don't know how to do that because they're, number one, scared to be alone or don't know how to be alone. They feel very uncomfortable because they are either around people or they're on social media, right? So like when you're not around people, you have the TV, you have your phone, you have something to keep you distracted. So you're not focusing on what's going on with you. A lot of people don't know who they are. For a long time, I didn't know who I was.
Completely disconnected.
Yeah. So
likewise.
Terrifying when you're in that situation to be alone because it's like you're your own stranger.
You see, but the thing is, I think the reason why the majority of people probably don't like being alone, well, for me, is because I didn't like who I was. And I probably was too prideful or too much in my ego to admit that.
Yeah.
So every time I would get alone, I would feel all these emotions and all this, traumas, and I would try to mask it, by going on the phone or going to watch a pointless show on TV or just going outside to see what the boys them doing, when instead I should have been sitting with those emotions and dealing with them. But however, I'm not gonna get down on myself because I did not know better. I was at that level of consciousness in which I was not aware, which is okay. Now that I'm at that level of awareness, I'm so grateful that I'm no longer there because I realized how much I was not even, tending to what was going on within me, which is the most important thing, because as within, so without, there's nothing outside of us. Is merely a reflection of our inner world. So I was never paying attention to my inner world and then wondering why, my outer reality would seem so, autopilotish. I kind of make up that word there in the sense like sometimes things going okay, then other times it's going a little sour. And it was kind of like, because I had no awareness of my energetic flow. I had no idea that I was actually creating my reality based on my emotional emittance. I was just, allowing everything to sway me here and there. And, and another thing too, I wasn't at that level of awareness, obviously, back then, that what you consume also plays a huge role in how you feel. Because it's one thing I could say though, like how I haven't touched meat in over a year, I can definitely say that, because that was one of the things I wanted to really see for myself, if you really take on the emotional trauma, if anxiety could be a factor of you consuming these animals because, they were in this state of fear and pain while they were being, amputated or, butchered. And I could definitely attest to the fact that I haven't felt any of that since. So I believe there's some truth to it. I'm not gonna say that it's cast in stone, but it makes sense to me. It resonates with me because energy is transferred, and there's no way that animal could have been happy while it was being butchered. I wouldn't be happy. So it would make sense why so many people walking around with anxiety, with fear, and all these low vibrational emotions, because the majority of people consume animals. Not to digress, but it ties in. It makes sense. It also ties in why, I mean, if they say meat causes cancer and it's a myth or it's not true, then why so many people die from cancer?
Yeah.
And so many people eat cancer. I find the correlation is a bit too close to still call it a conspiracy.
Right.
You know, if they say that eating animals causes heart disease, you know, and so many people dying from it, then if it's not that, then what is it then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody lying.
And like you were saying, with everything that we consume, it's not just the food, it's the TV, the things we do, the rap music we listen to, the certain frequencies that these high drums, these 808s and everything, the way these drill music, the way that stuff feeds on you, and you start to thinking that's your lifestyle. You start feeding off all this. And I believe I heard it on a podcast. I'll talk about some of that, where he explained it like he had a snake, and he had that snake in a cage, and that's his only environment. All you know is this environment right here, everything that you see. So you don't have room to grow unless you get another big cage where you can grow, and you start to see other places, you start to see different things, and where these different things are starting to change your vibration, you're starting to reach another level of consciousness. And like you said, with the food, you stay away from this processed stuff, these animal flesh, this dairy and stuff like that, where you eat these high vibrational foods, these fruits off these trees and everything, and how this diet raises your vibration, and everything just starts to change from there.
Yeah, because you see, what I've grown to understand along my journey thus far is that, you know, whatever you feed your senses will eventually be manifested on the external. You know, whatever you feed your senses on a consistent basis. So that's why I'm very, very particular with the music that's in my phone. I'm very particular with what I allow to, hit my retinas, even what I smell, what I think. I do my best to be conscious about these things on a regular, because I understand how it affects me. And I understand how, if it affects me negatively, I'll vibrate at the frequency I don't want to vibrate, and I'll attract, events and opportunities, and not opportunities, but situations that are on that same frequency. And I don't want that. People still, a lot of people still don't understand that, the way how you vibrate, plays a huge role on the quality of your life. If you consistently, as a matter of fact, one of my favorite quotes in my book that we were talking about is actually this one here. I don't know if you can see it. It's the bonus one.
Raise it up some.
No, can you?
Not really. There, I can see it a little bit. Okay. Can you read it to us?
Okay, so it says this: if you consistently entertain average habits, you will consistently live an average life.
Yeah.
Facts.
And you see that quote? Yeah, listen. That's one of the quotes in that book, that, and even quotes that I came up with afterwards, created afterwards, that, I might get up a day to go to the gym, and maybe I'm feeling a bit tired from kickboxing the night before. I'd be like, shit. And I'd be like, what would be an average habit right now, Mo? You're feeling tired. What you gonna do? You're gonna get up and push through it, or you're gonna go back to bed? In the beginning, I would have to ask. No, it's automatic. It's like, I'm tired, but it's a must. I have to get this workout in. I'm not settling for being average. The system was already set up for me to be average or below. I'm not gonna allow it to happen. So I'm gonna go. The majority of the world are gonna be in bed. I'm not going to settle for being like the majority of the world. Whom consistently entertain average habits. I'm not okay with living an average life. You see, so I have these dialogues with myself on a consistent basis. Positive self-talk is something I engage with regularly, which I believe is extremely important. No matter how positive you are, at times you need to be the one in your corner while you're in the corner. if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Don't always wait for the coach or to wait for your wife or your husband to be there to be like, no, sometimes you gotta be like, listen, Mo, listen, I know right now you ain't feeling all of that. And this is real story now. I legit talk to myself at it. Mo, I know right now you ain't feeling all of that, but listen to me, right? This ain't the first time. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's go, B. Let's go. This thing gonna break you. You've been here before. You know? You've been here before, B. You didn't come here to not be extraordinary. That's one of my quotes as well. You know, so again, I don't know if you deduce it as well, but you see, my quotes come from real life experiences, things I going through, or maybe I'm inspired based on an experience that I had, or maybe someone inspired me to something they don't even realize they inspired me. You know, maybe a song I'm listening to, and it happens like that with me. If I'm not inspired, if it's not intuitively guided, I do not just act. And that's another affirmation I use. I be like, higher self, allow me to, walk based on, because you could see better than me. So let me know what I should write a post about next. I legit talk to my higher self this week. I mean, I'm sure you would resonate with higher self. A lot of people might be like watching this video like higher self. You have a higher and a lower self, and I'm speaking to somebody who might be watching this and probably wondering like what he mean when he say higher self. Like you are one being, yes, but yeah, you're both negative and positive. You could refer to it in different ways. I too feel higher self. That kind of way, and that's how I go about, producing my content apart from me going in the sun and meditating and going within. I always do that, that kind of way. So I know, when I'm inspired, it's coming from my heart space and not from an ego place, or I need to produce content because people expecting me to produce content. It's never about what people expecting me. Am I feeling intuitively guided? Is this in alignment to my soul mission? If so, let's get it. Let's go. If not, I'm cooling. Oh, what happened there? What happened there? Is that me?
No, something happened with ours. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. You're there.
Okay, cool.
You're there. I'm really, really full enjoying this conversation though. Like for real. And God, I know I peep. I like your chain though. That all seen eye chain. I peep it. I like it.
But like we were saying, like you were saying with the positive affirmation, people don't know that words have power. There's power in the tongue, the things we say. And with some people may be down on themselves or depressed and stuff, where they talk negatively about themselves and they start to have like a downward spiral. But with these positive affirmations, you constantly lift yourself up, you change your vibration, you're in a good mood. Can you just talk about like how words have power and the power in spelling?
That's a very, very interesting topic, to be honest, because I'm really, really huge on it, in the sense like now that I understand that, we're living in a magical realm, and what we speak literally cast spells. That's the reason why as soon as you go to school, one of the first things they teach you is how to spell. They teach you how to spell, and ironically, when it comes to wizardry, they call it casting a spell, and then these movie actors they call it a cast, and it all correlates, so now that I understand that, I'm very, very particular with what I say. For instance, I would never greet you. I'm not even gonna say the word, and then I would never greet you and say good morning. It's grand rising for me, that kind of way. For example, I'm very particular because I understand that, the inorganic people who hijack the planet, they set these light codes, they gave us this whole English language, to pretty much enslave us. So what I did now, me realizing that of course, I know there are many words that I still don't understand the meanings for, but the ones that I do my best to avoid them, or I try to use alchemy. That's why I was saying earlier, for example, I don't say weak end, I say strong end. Yeah, I don't say next week, I say next strength. It sounds weird to people, but for me, this is my intent. And at the end of the day, I understand how much power intent holds. So my intent is there's nothing weak about me. So you're not gonna hear me talking about no strong end, no. And plus, I understand that Henry Ford is the one who came up with this whole 9 to 5, da 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 da. I won't go into that, but I have a few affirmations that I personally use. One of which is this, right? And I kid you not, the affirmation that I'm about to say right now, I've been using it for maybe at least 5 years at least. I say it in the same order every time, and it goes like this. Dear universe, I am and will always be humble, strong, positive, confident, ambitious, determined, focused, spiritual, disciplined, kind, fearless, grateful, loving, courageous, healthy, wealthy, wise, and peaceful no matter what. That's one of my affirmations I say regularly. I would say it like that in the same order. I have like 3, 4 of them that I say. Why? Because I understand that the words that I speak literally have the power to create and manifest the reality that I aspire to create, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So because I'm aware of this, and I understand that, listen, like I said earlier, they call these actors they are a cast because they're actually casting spells. These movies, they actually tell you, they try to prime our mind, you know, and let us know what they're actually gonna do or what they're doing. You know, they basically try to pull the veil over, but eventually when you know that that's what they're doing, you get to watch movies from a whole different perspective. But if you watch a movie from the perspective of entertainment, they're pretty much programming you to think what they want you to think and act how they want you to act. And if that's not a spell, I don't know what a spell is.
Yeah.
And ironically, the word spell, you also find it in magic spells. So that means you're basically performing magic. So if you're performing magic when you speak words, that means that everything that comes out your mouth is legit a spell you're casting. So what are we casting? So for me, that's why it should be a heightened importance on what you utter out your mouth. It's the reason why we have 2 ears on 1 mouth. Listen more, speak very carefully, choose your words wisely. So that's where I'm at with it when it comes to, I don't always get it right, but that's where my awareness level is when it comes to, words and they having power and, casting spells and, etc.
Well, we normally have guests on. We haven't asked this question in a while, so we just decided we want to pick back up on it. Since we're getting ready to wrap this thing on up, where do you get your strength from?
Where do I get my strength from? To be honest, I would have to say my will to realize my full potential and get a reward for all the pain that I've been through, because I've been through a lot, just like everybody else. It's just that my will to never give in, right? Understanding that in order to be great, you must go through hardship. I follow the greats and I understand how it works. So me aspiring to want to become the best version I possibly can before I transcend is where I get my strength from, in a nutshell.
Beautiful.
I love that.
That. Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Well, it's been amazing having you on tonight. I know we've had, all these struggles with the internet and everything else, but we just kept on pushing through, and it turned into an amazing conversation.
Like I said, it meant to be. It's gonna go through, and look how smooth it went through.
Yes.
Look how smooth it went through, right?
Yes, you spoke it, and it happened, and it was incredible. And I want to make sure that all of our listeners are able to connect with you. So please, this is your time to tell all of our listeners where they can find you and where they can find your book.
Well, first of all, you can find my book on Amazon right now. All you have to do is type in Molove Quotes Volume 1, The Spiritual Journey. You could also find me on Instagram under coach_Molove, M-O, love, small letters. I'm also on Facebook. I don't really be on there much. My YouTube channel is Mo_love. That would be all caps. So capital MO_love, LOVE. You could find me on those platforms and we can connect there. Giving me the opportunity though, Strong Vegan Fit, to, promote my book and stuff. I really appreciate me. I'm not sure how I did. So I really hope that,
Incredible.
I brought the energy you expected, because this is who I am. This is what I do. And I just want to say thank you again for giving me the opportunity, trusting me to come on your podcast. It means a lot. It really does. But again, that's where you could reach me again, on Instagram, on YouTube, and my book on Amazon.
I love it. You did amazing. We're so glad to have you on. Your energy is always there. And thank you again for coming on with us. Thank you for listening to the Strong AF podcast. We hope you really enjoyed this episode.
Just do us a favor, go on the Apple Podcast, leave us a 5-star review, let us know how you enjoyed the episode. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just drop us a couple comments. We love hearing from you guys.
Yeah, we always love hearing your feedback, and let us know what you'd like to hear more of as well.